Hey everyone. So what I have here is a map from an online game I used to play. Some of you may recognize the map from one of my other videos, my Alchemist video. But yeah, I thought this might be an interesting thing to show. I've seen a lot of videos where people are kind of like showing different locations on a map, and I don't know if anyone's done it with a fictional map before. I mean, I'm sure someone has, but the game that this was made for was Ultima Online. It's a really older game now, and it's not as popular as it used to be because the graphics haven't aged well for some people. Personally, I liked it because it was so minimalist. Because the graphics were so simple, you could do things like own houses and build your own houses in such explicit detail. And like the big 3D games, that you can't really do that because it'd be so complicated to build anything in the world for yourself. But yeah, it's made out of a sort of soft cloth-like material. It was given away as a special promotional item when the game first came out. So this thing has to be at least like 15 years old or something. Britannia was the name of the land originally. I think they called it Zosaria as a more general term, as they like added more and more expansions. Like you could travel through portals into other worlds and stuff like that. The locations are obviously written in some kind of rune. I happen to have a lot of these places memorized though, so yeah, I figured we could take a look around. This one right here, maybe it'd be better if I kind of, fold it up. And, yeah, alright. This one is Vesper. It was a city that's a bunch of little islands all interconnected with bridges. It was kind of like the traders' village. And, let's see. Up here ways is Minok, which was like a big mining community. It's where most of the blacksmiths were. And I'm having a hard time finding a good way to hold this. So let's see. Then, down here, this one is Cove. These runes must be some kind of just literal code, like just transfer over to English letters, because all of these seem to have the same number of characters as they do in English. Just like Cove, this has 4 letters, so this must literally just be C-O-V-E. Yeah, over here in Vesper, see, since it's Vesper, these would be E's. And then over here in Cove, the same one would be an E, this is an E. So they just made some kind of simple code using sort of like Viking-looking runes. It's pretty simplistic, but it was still a really neat touch that they gave it that. Let's see. This big one right here is Britain. And it was the capital city. It might be kind of hard to see, but this right here was like the castle where the king lived. And over here was like a smaller castle, like his head advisor lived. This over here is U. It was like really big and spread out. And there was like some event where it all like turned into swamp because of some curse, and it was like that for like years and years and years until they finally changed it back to the way it was originally. Another one that got changed after the game had been made was this one, Oglo, which they changed into Haven and then New Haven, and they just made it go through like so many needless revamps. The island kept transforming into different stuff. This one up here, I think was, I almost said Moonglow. I think this one was Magencia. Yeah. This one up here was Moonglow, which was like the mage capital. I think it had like a big library and a big college, and it was meant to focus on like the study of the supernatural and everything. So this was like the mage headquarters. And this was New Gelm. It was like really sandy. I think it was supposed to be like the Ottoman Empire or something it was inspired by. Let's see, then down here, it goes down lower. This one was Trinsic, which is like a big yellow sandstone city. You can kind of see the outline of a wall on the map, which is a very distinctive characteristic of it. It had like huge walls going all the way around it. This over here was Scarabray, if I'm pronouncing that right. It was like the trader's hub, I think. This big thing right here was a giant hedge maze. It was kind of like a dungeon. It's kind of weird to make a dungeon out of something that's seemingly as harmless as a hedge maze, but it was interesting. I think this was Jalom. It was like a big mercenary hub. So there were a whole bunch of like fighters there. There was a big gladiator pit. Let's see what else. I'm trying to remember what this one was. This was Serpent's Hold. Yeah. I think it was supposed to be like a big military base. Or something. Because, yeah, it was like, I don't know, it was like very industrial. It had like a whole bunch of soldiers and stone walls and everything. Let's see, I think that's close to all of them. I was trying to save the best for last. So yeah, we went through all the others. This one in the very middle is my favorite, so I was saving it. Buccaneer's Den, which was where most of my characters lived. It was like a big, lawless island. When they first made the game, players could kill other players, but you had to be careful about it, because if you were in town, if someone typed in the word guards and then hit enter, once your character said the word guards, the town guards would come and kill the guy who was attacking you. So, yeah, if you tried to commit murder in town limits, the city guards would come kill you. What was distinctive about Buccaneer's Den is it was the only town at the time that had no guards. You couldn't call the guards. It was a lawlessness. So, a lot of like murderers and thieves all kind of congregated there. So it was a very aptly named city. It was meant to be like a pirate hub. So let's see if we have some other distinctive features we can look up on this map. There's some ankhs here and there, if I'm pronouncing that word correctly. It's this symbol. I think it's like the Egyptian symbol for life. Ankhs were a means that you could use to come back to life if your characters got killed. There'd be like big shrines that you could go to. And let's see, we also have, they're a little harder to see, but there's some skulls scattered across the map, like this one right here. Those signified dungeons, and I can't remember the names of all the dungeons. I didn't frequent the dungeons too much. I liked interacting with other players. I enjoyed PvP more than PvM. For those of you who aren't as nerdy as I am, PvP stands for player versus player, and PvM is player versus monster. So it's usually, in games like this, the two groups that people will divide themselves into. See, this was Dagger Island, although people usually just called it Ice Island. I think this was my favorite dungeon of the ones I did go to. It was the dungeon Deceit. Let's see, I think, this big one here that doesn't have any cities on it was a Fire Island. It was occupied by a bunch of dragons and demons and stuff, which is why no one ever bothered to build anything there. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all of it. I could point out a lot of minor locations, but this could be a really, really long video if I did that, because I spent a lot of years playing this game, and so I know a lot of dumb little trivia knowledge. Yeah. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a good night.